Hello, everyone. Welcome to yet another information session recording for the 2024 Sasol News Signatures Art Competition. My name is Punzo Sidogi, and I'm joined by my colleague.
Hi, I'm Kate Blanche, and I'm here today at the Sasol Art Gallery.
Yes, so this is the fourth and final information session recording that we are making for the 2024 edition of the competition. As we noted, this is really building on the information sessions that we've already started recording in 2023, and we again encourage you to have a look at those if you have not. This year, we've added these four sessions to build on what is already there, because some of the wisdom that we've shared, some of the insight that we've shared is still relevant to the competition now and also moving forward, and also relevant to just the careers in general of artists that are serious about becoming professional practitioners in the visual arts industry. So in this last session, we're going to be talking about what makes a winning artwork. And of course, this is not an easy conversation, but we are going to approach it in a very simple way by showing you some examples from the previous winners and some of the unique things that they were able to do that got them the amazing overall prize. And there are many examples that we could showcase, but we are just going to spotlight a few in the few minutes that we have with you. But we encourage you to really look at the wealth of resources that are out there in terms of the Sasol New Signatures Art Competition, previous winners, but also generally within the South African visual arts landscape. But before we go there, Kate, you noted that you are joining us from the Sasol Art Gallery. So can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yes, I am, Funzo. And so apologies up front if there's a little bit of noise. Obviously, we are in a working environment and we have lots of people going up and down and chatting. So apologies for that up front if there is a bit of noise on this video. But yes, we're in the Sasol Art Gallery, and I think it's actually very fitting for this session to actually be in this gallery. I've just put up some artworks from our collection, previous winners, merit winners, winners, runner-ups in this exhibition of ours, and it's especially for the submissions. So I'd love to actually extend an invitation to everyone that will be submitting at Sasol Place in Johannesburg on the 4th and the 5th. To please, join us. You know, the gallery will be open. You'll be able to come and view some of the works and to just enjoy and take some inspiration back. But also, if you can't make it at that stage on those dates, please, if you ever feel like visiting our collection, you can just email me at art@sasol.com and we can make an arrangement. The gallery is open at by appointment, so you just need to email me. But yes, so we have a lot of wonderful examples here with us today of previous winners' works, and I think we'll probably be chatting about a couple of them in the course of today's chat.
That's right. And perhaps one of the things that we should highlight to potential entrants is that winning the overall prize, of course, is amazing, the cash prize and the opportunity to have a solo exhibition. But actually, what's even more important for the sustainability of the careers of those that win and those that are part of the winner's circle, or even if you just make it into the final round, is for your artwork to be connected. And I know Sasol is very committed to purchasing works that make it into the final round and checking which works could be part of the really amazing collection that they have of South African art going back to the 20th century. And so this is one thing that as an emerging artist, you should always be on the lookout for, how you can get your work into established art collections, both within the public and private sector, and certainly the competition provides an opportunity for that to happen. And the works that we're going to be showing you, of course, fall into that category of what we term these iconic artworks that will have made it into collections, the Sasol art collection, for example, or any other collection, and will be studied perhaps, right, in the next 20, 30, 40 years by students when they're learning about the art of the 2000s and the 2010s and the 2020s. This should be definitely a goal for you as you enter the competition, that you become part of what is known as the canon of South African art.
Absolutely, absolutely. And, I think, that's one thing that a lot of people always ask is, if I win, will Sasol buy my work? So just to clarify, we try and as far as possible to buy from every year some of the works that we feel are really relevant. But we also have to bear in mind that when we exhibit it in our collection, in our space, this is a working space. So sometimes it's just not practical. Some big installations and things, we might not have space for that. Some of the works the content might be a bit too, out there.
Difficult. Yeah.
Yes.
No, that's the reality.
It doesn't mean that it's not
reality.
relevant, but it might not work in a corporate situation.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, if your work is good, that's the most important thing, and you will be collected. So yes, look out for, I think that is something that's very important for emerging artists, is to look for those opportunities where they can actually get their works into collections as well.
That's right. And so this then points to the first kind of nugget of advice that we would like to give around what makes a winning work, is that you should start off by being a historian, a student of not just South African art history, but world art history and what's going on beyond our shores. Oftentimes, what we've discovered when we speak to some of these artists that have achieved the overall prize or part of the winning circle, is they will tell you, I did a lot of research. I looked around at what others were doing. And so this is a really important step in the development of your own artistic voice, is to look at what others are doing and what others have done. And of course, to look at the best of what has come out, not only within a South African context, but certainly from around the world as well. So we encourage that, and as the conversation goes, we are actually going to go onto the Sasol New Signatures website, that platform that could be a starting point for that research work. This is a basic principle of any person or business that seeks to be successful, is to do a kind of a market survey and a market analysis of what are others doing, what have they done, and what unique thing can I contribute. And perhaps Kate can just talk about the importance of artists sticking to their own unique voice, regardless of what maybe the trends might be, but to really cultivate their own visual artistic language.
Yes, I think that's actually a very important thing. On the one hand, artists need to know what is actually happening in the art world at the moment. They need to go to exhibitions. They need to see works like this. They need to look at the catalogs and see what kind of works have been chosen in previous years and so forth. But it's very important to actually know that what you are producing is very original, it's unique, it's your art, it's your voice. So what we often see is, say the previous year, there were maybe ceramics. The ceramics won the winning prize. And the next year we see an influx of works, ceramic works entries. And it's maybe like thinking, oh, this is what the judges wanted. And that's totally, it's not so. We actually judge every single work for its own merit. So it's not about trends and, just be authentic, and make sure that your work actually speaks to something that you are very passionate about.
Without a doubt. Try as much as possible to avoid the temptation of, oh, this seems to be what's in vogue in fashion right now, so that's what I'm going to do. Of course, as we say, do not be blind to what's happening around you. I think as artists, we do respond to what's happening in our world. So yes, there has to be that balance. So now what we are going to do is show you a selection of artworks from previous winners. And here we must just note, it's the point that Kate has made just now, is by us showing us these works, by us showing you guys these works, we are by no means saying that these are the type of works that you need to be submitting. They are hundreds of examples that we could show you of brilliant, excellent artworks, but we just don't have the time, unfortunately. That is part and parcel of that first step that you need to do, of researching. So please let it not be misunderstood that the selection that we've provided here is, oh, this is exactly what they are looking for. What we've tried to do as well in the selection is try to be diverse, show artworks produced in different mediums, artworks engaging in different themes, so that you can see again that there isn't particularly a one size fits all formula. It's about artists that were able to articulate, this year's slogan, articulate something that was unique and using their own style and visual language. So the first place to go, as you can see here, we've been talking about the Sasol signatures.co.za. Go there, all the information that you need for this year's entry process is available, like the entry form. But for the purposes of our discussions, there is this link to the catalogs. That's the section that we're going to be engaging with. And we are going to start with last year's winner. I think it's a good place to start. Nosiviwe's submission of ceramics. And for me, I think it's important to emphasize that in the past, there has been this criticism that only a certain medium is favored by the judges. And nothing could be further from the truth. This example of ceramic work winning the overall prize really shows that the judges really are looking for art that has really expressed whatever idea the artist is trying to bring across through the medium, the chosen medium that the artist has used in the best possible way. And Nosiviwe's submission from 2023 certainly did that. Kate, is there anything you'd like to add about that as I show a video as well of the work?
Yes, yes. So her work is actually in the gallery. You can't see it because it's actually on plinths and it's right behind me. So it is actually one of the works that we acquired for our collection. And if you will be coming to Sasol Place with your submissions, you are welcome to come through and have a look at them. They are incredibly beautifully crafted objects. Firstly, they're just, I can't explain what it really, but you have an emotional response to the work without knowing what it's about. And I think that is actually it's one of the things that like really just actually connects with the judges, is if in some way or other you can elicit some kind of emotion.
Yeah.
And then, of course, obviously, you need to have the technical skills have to be there. And then, of course, also the concept. That's what we're really looking for, is that those those elements actually combine and speak to each other.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yes.
But the materiality there, the mastery of the materiality, and speaking to perhaps you mentioned several aspects that are important here. So the first is the mastery of the medium, and this certainly comes through in what we are seeing here, right? How she's engaged with the clay to reproduce the feeling of these old, used, worn out shoes. That is captured through the ceramics medium, which is not an easy thing to do. But then the second point that you've noted is, of course, the concept behind it, the idea behind it. And this is something that is consistent with all of the works that we're going to be showing, is that actually these artists, their artist statements were not the most convoluted, with dense theoretical language. They were very simple. The idea was very straightforward. One could understand what it is that the artwork is all about. So that's the advice that we would like to provide, is there's nothing wrong, of course, in having a very complex idea that is grounded in theory and philosophy, and we often get that, and those works have made it into the final round. But something that is certainly consistent in all of the winners that we're going to show right now is the clarity of the concept coming through.
I think also something that really is important in Nosiviwe's work is her use of clay as a medium. And if we go through some of the other examples, we'll see that again and again with a lot of the other artists, the use of medium is actually very, very specific, and it adds a very specific layer of meaning to the works. If we just think in terms of clay, what clay means. Clay is very malleable, and you can form it. And, if you just thinking of the concept in terms of young children, their minds, how minds are formed at school. So we can relate the idea of using clay with young children. Also, obviously, ceramics are very fragile. They very, you just drop them and they're broken, and that also actually refers very much to the lives of young learners, and their education. They have wonderful dreams, and where they're going to go to, and in an instant, those dreams can be shattered.
Yeah.
So I think just looking at the works that we've actually chosen for this discussion, a lot of those artists actually use the medium to
communicate
yes.
depth. So I hope our listeners, viewers, picked up on the fact that Nosiviwe's artist statement was very succinct, right? Very short, very straightforward. But and the analysis that Kate provided has a lot of depth. So it is possible to capture something that is really rigorous and complex, but in a manner that once it's communicated, it's clear and understandable. And we also get this from Jessica Kapp's installation. It was part sculptural, part installation. So Kapp was the overall winner for 2018, and she was studying at Stellenbosch at the time. And it seems as if there's a theme here. And Nosiviwe was also a student when she won, and same with Jessica Kapp. But again, using the material, right? The mastery of that material, the link between the material, in this case, these rammed earth, right? So literally getting sand and pieces of the ground from Knysna. So her work was inspired by the fires that happened and devastated Knysna, and she used that very material and the kind of heavy symbolism of that material, and then created these columns, which were magical. Unfortunately, we don't have a picture of it kind of in space, but they were amazing as a kind of installation. They are really brilliant individually, but as an installation as well. These were absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
But again, that very clear link between the choice of material, where she found that material, and of course the theme of the work.
Yeah. And I think once again, in this situation, there's an emotional response. If you just look at that as an object, and then you start realizing that this is actually layers of history, lying in people's history, lying in front of you, you do have an emotional response to that. So I'm not saying that all artworks have to have that kind of element to it, but if it is there, it actually it sort of makes it easier for the viewer to access the work.
Without a doubt. And another common theme now, as we perhaps jump into our winner in 2019, who very different medium, right? Very different material, kind of more traditional art medium in terms of oil on canvas. But what is common from Nosiviwe to Jessica and now to Patrick Roulore's work is that each of them were telling their own unique stories. So Nosiviwe's story talking about children and education and the difficulty of some children to access education, to the devastating experience of the residents of Knysna, and then of course to something that is a common feature for all of us, load shedding. Although in the past 2 months we haven't had any, which is good, holding thumbs that it continues. So here again, the fact that he's telling his own unique story, and he has chosen a visual language that would articulate that the best way. And for him, his visual language was oil on canvas, painting, and painting in a particular style, in a particular way. Obviously, he had a source image of a photograph, but then in working on that photograph or the image from that photograph on the painting, his own unique style comes across, and that is something that we cannot stress enough. But telling his own unique story. So already I've got 3 examples, 3 very different stories, 3 stories that are relevant to the South African experience, right? Sure.
I think what's really important about Patrick's work is that he tells his own story. So, the works actually come from images, from situations from in his home. But in a way, that when the viewer looks at that work, they are immediately able to say, I understand, I know exactly, it speaks to me. And I think that's also something that's quite important, is that your viewer needs to in some way be able to relate with what it might not necessarily have to be good or bad, but the viewer needs to have some kind of connection with the work. And I think Patrick does that so successfully.
Oh, without a doubt. So how the personal can become the public, the corporate.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So each of these stories certainly are very personal, but to all of us as South Africans are able to find ourselves in their individual stories. Now, the next 2 works that we'd like to show are related to, again, using different mediums and modes in submitting your work, and how that also can get you the overall prize. So the first one that I would like to look at, just give me a moment, not Nosiviwe. Is Mohau Modisakeng's iconic photograph from 2011. So Mohau was the overall winner in 2011. And here we just want to highlight that sometimes you do not have to use ceramics. You do not have to do a sculpture. You do not have to make a print, right? You don't have to submit a drawing. Sometimes it can just be a photograph, and photographs have really done well in the past. And again, we're not showing Mohau because we're saying he's the best of the best. He's just one example of photographers that have submitted works. And have gone on to achieve great acclaim, not only in the competition but also beyond. So again here, choice of medium, and then how you present that. So how presented these photographs was again very simple. They were printed out, and then he was able to get, I think it was bull clips, if I'm not mistaken, because you have this work in the gallery.
Yes, we have it in
Right,
the
Kate?
gallery, and I've actually got
Yeah.
one of them hanging up. So also part of the collection. And
Yeah.
yes, I think that is actually one of the things that is so successful, because these works are large. They are basically life size. So when you are looking at it, you're actually confronted by this person looking back at you. And the work actually talks about identity, and his struggle with his own identity,
Yeah.
trying to find a way of understanding himself. So if those works were small, it wouldn't have had like the same kind of
Same
confrontational
impact. Yeah.
effect. But the fact that they are large and you have to stand in front of this person and view them, you also actually have that kind of connection with the artist.
Without a doubt.
Fascinating works.
Yeah. So again, photography as a medium, and we've just not included it here as an example, but the 2017 winner, Lebogang Kanye, she submitted an animation, right?
Yes.
So again, different mediums, different modalities can achieve overall success. And the last example that we'll go into is this one by Andrea Duplessis, because this is an example of the integration between technology, right? Digital 4IR technology and very traditional modes of art making and experiencing art, again, oil on canvas. And this was the overall winner from 2021, if I'm not mistaken.
I
Yes,
think
there we
21,
go.
yeah.
2021. So this was the prize that really it wowed the judges. In all of these works that we are showing you, it was almost kind of unanimous
Yes.
with the judges. I think there's a way in which these works, and we are calling them iconic works, these iconic works really speak to the judges on the day, and it's almost just obviously there's discussion and engagement, but it's almost as if every judge knows bottom of their hearts that this is the overall work or winning work. And it was the case with Andrea. And again, it was a very well considered engagement with technology. The Artivive app, which at the time, this is also coming post COVID, was a very big development in how artworks are experienced and brought to life, and how she managed to integrate that into her work. Very, very unique. And yes, you could say that it was responding to a trend that was taking place at the time, but the way in which she responded to it was compelling and exciting. And so that's what we would want to see from some of the entries, that whatever use of technology that you would like to bring in, let it still have your own unique voice and stand, so that it really elevates it beyond just being the ordinary, mundane, what we've come to expect from what everyone else is doing.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Andrea's work is also in the collection, and it's also up here. So if you come, you can view that. But yes, I think what's wonderful about this work is that she actually used the tool to speak.
Yeah.
The tool wasn't actually the artist. And we had this discussion about the use of AI in our first information store session.
Yeah.
And so I just want to encourage anyone thinking of submitting works done by AI to just go back to that discussion And this is really actually a great example of how an artist can use technology um, as a servant. If I can use that word. The technology is not actually, the artist. The technology here is layering the meaning, and she is actually exploiting the technology to add meaning to her work. So absolutely wonderful work.
Oh, without a doubt, without a doubt. So this concludes just the selection of examples that we wanted to show you of previous winners. Again, I must reiterate this, that this does not by any means constitute the best, saying, oh, these are the ones that we are vouching for. We really just wanted to show you a diversity of approaches that artists have utilized in the past, a diversity of mediums, a diversity of stories, right? Not out of the works that we've shown, not a there wasn't any duplication of a story, right? Each story was unique, and each story was unique to the artist. So having said all of this, we are really excited about receiving your submissions. We are looking forward to really a difficult regional judging round, because there will be so many brilliant submissions that we have to really think through and deliberate. Uh, my 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 apologies for that. That we'll have to deliberate on. But certainly we encourage you to submit your work on the 4th and the 5th at the 8 collection points that we have around the country, and articulate your story. Tell us your story and what's there for you to lose, but potentially become the next winner of the competition.
Oh, absolutely. I'm really looking forward to this. And I actually just want to encourage everyone, come into your work. But please also remember that if your work isn't selected, don't be too hard on yourself. Obviously, there might be some issues, technical issues you might not have resolved, technical issues yet, or issues in terms of your concept. But most often it's actually just, technical things such as the size is wrong, or you haven't got all the right documents there, everything. So make sure that you've got all of that. And good luck. We'd love to see you and come and visit us.
That's right. And who knows, your artwork could just be where Kate is in a year's time, right? Could be part of a collection of part of a major art collection, which is the Sasol art collection, or any other collection in the country.
Yep.
Thank you. Wish you all the best, and really thank you for giving us this opportunity to share these ideas with you. And again, this does not constitute the total wisdom of what it takes to produce a winning work, but we hope that it has guided you along your path. All the best.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.